question is, how do remote sessions work?
Yeah. So a lot of people want to know, how does this work when you're not physically proximate to me? Okay. So frequency work, you have to remember, happens at a very, very high level. Okay. So you have oneness, a pure source, vibrating at its very high level, and then a drop in vibrational level where frequencies are created, and we're still in the timeless. That's the level that we're working at. This is like far before the embodiment happens, right? So frequencies slow down a vibration, they cause energy, the vibration slows down even more, it causes physical matter or form. Okay, so we're working way up here at the frequency level. All right, so that is working in the timeless, right? Or what I call the eternal now. So it's beyond time and space. So if none of this is making sense to you, all you have to remember is this is happening at a very high vibrating level beyond time and space. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning the oneness for you, okay? Or the person that I'm working on, right? So it could be your child, your grandfather, whomever. I pick up on the frequency resonance bundle that is you and start working. So I'm not bound to a physical you. Make sense? I'm working at the level that's beyond your physical body. So it doesn't matter where you're physically located. My clients are all over the world. You know, Europe, Asia, Australia, United States, Canada, like it doesn't matter. So you don't even have to be on the phone. Like I've worked on people when they're asleep, Yeah,
and with me.
With you actually as well. So whether you're on the phone with me or not, it doesn't matter. It still works. So that's what I would say about remote work, is that your physicalness is being physically present is something that is a constraint from an older consciousness. We're moving now into something different where we can do a lot more without having to be physically near each other to have an effect.
Yeah, that can be hard for the conscious mind to comprehend. But beyond time and space is the point. You don't need to be spatially there.
Spatially there.
Higher
totally.
level stuff.
Yeah, and lots of change happens for people when they're physically not next to me at all. So
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Is the replay as powerful as the live sessions?
Yes. We get that question a lot, and it's a really great question. So yes, it is, because you have to understand why, you have to understand time. Okay. So I just mentioned that we work in the timeless, right? In the eternal now. So there are two forms of time for those of you who don't know. There's the eternal now, which is what everything on spirit level rests on. Okay. So everything is in the now. So if you ever have gone to receive a session from somebody and they're channeling something, for example, and you ask the being a question and they say, well, the X, Y, and Z will happen. And you'll say, well, when does that happen? And they'll say, well, now. Because for them, anything that's not on the physical linear time, everything is happening now. Okay, I know it's hard for us to understand because as humans, we have this linear sense of time. Linear time is a function of our minds as humans not being able to take in the huge amount of data that happens in the eternal now. Okay, like our brains literally can't process at that level. Okay, so we compress time, kind of just like the way we compress music now. Like if you had like a vinyl record or like a CD with like a lot of information in the music, right? So the music is really full, there's a lot of data in it, and you flatten the file and it becomes an MP3. We do that with time. We can't take all of that huge amount of information all happening in the eternal now as humans because we have these little brains. So what we do is we flatten time and we create linearity. Okay, so you're like, okay, I don't understand what it has to do with the question I just asked. The reason that it has to do with the question you asked is because frequency work happens in the eternal now. It happens in the timeless, beyond space-time. So it's not that the frequencies are in the recordings. Some people think, are the frequencies in the recordings? I'm like, no. What's happening is you're being pulled into the timestamp in which the work was being given. That timestamp is an access point to the timeless where the work was given on that mastermind. So you join the mastermind as if you were there live. Does that make sense? In that timestamp. Okay, so that's how the recordings work. You're just pulled into that timestamp, which then gives you an access point into the timeless with the rest of the group. So you're all being worked on at the same time, or that access point, if that makes sense.
A follow-up question, if it's okay, is what about when you're doing a session and you're tapping into the group and what they might need? I guess, that's a little hard for the brain to comprehend. Because if you're not there, are you giving me what you need if I'm not there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny that you asked that question, because when I first started giving Mastering Your Worldly Frequencies, the mastermind hadn't coalesced yet because it was new. We hadn't released it. So the answer is yes, you can. Because what I do, okay, at least for me, is that when I tap into the mastermind, it's not bound by time. So I feel the mastermind, and I don't feel it like just as like who's going to hear it at this point in time or this point in time. I'm feeling it in the timeless, which is huge. So it doesn't matter. Does that answer your question? It doesn't matter when you listen to it. It really doesn't. Because at some point, there's part of you, I mean, remember, you're infinite, indestructible consciousness. So you're already in that eternal now. I know it sounds weird from the mind,
I get it.
But it's...
Yeah, there's a lot of movies out kind of like that that I think help to kind of get the picture. But I get it. But hopefully, maybe we could just listen to this again.
But it will, and if it doesn't make sense to you right now as a listener, because you're just like, I don't know what they're talking about, it's okay. When you do more of this work and you release distortion patterns, your resonance will come up and you'll start to feel what we're saying.
Yeah,
okay? So even if you mentally don't understand it, it's okay. Just let yourself relax into the resonance of what we're saying. And then it'll click one day and you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's what she meant.
Right.
Okay, so that's all right.
Thank you.